Floating, I have taken his big winter rug off because he'll get too hot in that. But then again, it's not quite warm enough to just leave him bare in the float, so I put this rug on just as another warmth. It's only a thin one. He doesn't need a pole protection because he's not big enough, and two, he tends to keep his head nice and low so he doesn't throw it up too much. Okay, then we have bandaged because the float boots that we have for another horse are a bit too big. These got, the smaller ones got the front, which cover the knee, and then the big ones got the back, which cover the hock, as you can see the point. Okay, I am bandaging his legs. I've done the other three, but I'll show you this one. This is the special float bandage. It's not like an exercise bandage. As you can see, it comes down over their pastern to protect it when they're in the float. So we get a padding just as extra protection. And then our bandage. Like the tail bandage, making sure it's firm but not too tight, so it cuts the circulation. And then you just work your way down over the fetlock and down over the pastern. And then just work your way back up to the top, making sure you finish up the top. Like so. And these are similar, work similar to the float boots as well, but float boots tend to be easier and quicker for most people. Okay, the reason why we put a tail bandage on is to make sure that they don't rub their tail when if they're leaning back on the bar. I like to start about a little bit below the top of the tail because it makes it a bit easier to reach and to twist around. And I do a little tag at the top like this, and then once I come back around I fold that back down. Just helps to stop it from slipping. And then I can work my way up the tail, making sure it's firm but not too tight that it puts too much pressure on the dock. Got to make sure that there's no lumps or folded over parts of the bandage, and go up as high as I can, and then just work my way, thanks Gus, back down. That smells. It's not gonna be long. As far as I can go to the dock. And tie it off. And there we have it. Protects his tail. Okay, this is the float and car we're going to use. First of all, before you load any horse, you should always make sure it is connected to the car. Otherwise it will be very dangerous. With checking that it's safe to load and use, you should make sure your car has the correct towing capacity for the float and the horse as well, because the horse adds on quite a lot of weight. When checking that the float is attached, you should make sure that the tow hitch is connected on, the pin is dropped down, and the pin is put through to make sure that this does not open up when you're driving. Also, make sure the chains are done up nice and tight, and we often cross ours over just as like extra security. Making sure lights are attached and working, that you can do when you start up the car and checking the lights. Okay, make sure your jockey wheel is up and safely secured so it's not going to come undone. And then, and also if your brakes are working. Okay, because this is an old float, it has hydraulic brakes. There's another type of brakes which are electric brakes, and they connect to the car's lights. And if under any circumstance the float comes off or anything, it has a breakaway system which puts the brakes on the floats electrically. Okay, make sure that your tyres are not flat, making sure that they have a good thread on them, and also the same as your spare tyre. And then you can go and, okay, now we prepare the float for travel. So we open it up. Making sure you don't stand behind the ramp as it goes down. It's pretty heavy. Open up the bay you're going to put him in. Now I'm opening up this side because you should put, when you have only one horse, you should put them on the driver's side because of the weight distribution for the float when it's on the road. Open up the door so you've got a nice inviting light in the float, because horses don't normally like going into a dark float as they're very claustrophobic. Our chest bars are changeable, so we can lower it because he's a smaller pony. Because now I can lower it so it's easier for him to stand in the float. Oh, should have put the other one. There we go. So that's a better height for him. Talk to them. Good boy. Nice and quietly so it doesn't give them a fright with the bane. Once it's back up, you can go and tie them up. Good boy. Come here. Come here. And when you tie them up, make sure that you are not tying too tight or too loose, because if they're too loose they can move their head around the pole or go see another horse, which can create some arguments. And also tie them to baling twine so if he pulls back he's not stuck to the float or pulling himself. So just tie. In a safe knot. Good boy. And then you're ready to go. Okay, so once you get to your destination, you come to him, make sure he's okay, untie him before, and you just untie before you undo the back. Good boy. Then you can go around. You should undo him first before you put the back down, just to make sure that once you put it down he doesn't pull back or rush out, which if he feels like he's stuck he'll panic more. Ugh. Good boy. Woo. Now woo. Woo. Good boy. Woo. They can. Good boy. And then you're done.